Hey everyone, happy Friday. How's everyone today? I hope everyone's weekend is getting off to a good start. I have a couple of sewing updates to share with you guys. I'll give it a couple minutes, see if anyone else jumps on. And while we wait, I'm looking at the Joann's ad. It came in the mail today. Hi, Sew Notes. Hi, Pam. How are you guys? Good, good. One of the things that I'm gonna share with you guys tonight, I have a finished make to share. I'm wearing it. It seems like I take so long to finish anything that when I do finish something, it's like, woohoo, big deal. Ah, awesome. I love burgundy too. I had my colors done last about a year ago, like right before Christmas season last year. And luckily it was one of my like official colors because I do love it so much. And any shade of green and a lot of the blues, which I was happy because I love those colors. Yeah, if you guys have like Pam, I know you probably are familiar with the top that I'm wearing just because I've kind of been talking about it for a while, this simplicity pattern. Um, I finally got it done and sharing it with you guys today. Hey Vanessa, how are you? You guys have any special plans for the weekend? You gonna get some sewing in? Awesome. That's good to hear, Vanessa. Thanks, Pam. I feel like it was such an easy make. I usually try to track, like, how long it takes me to make a pattern just for future reference, so I know kinda what I'm getting into if I wanna remake it, and this one was pretty quick. It just took me a few hours to make, like, from start to finish, and so it's kind of easy to make and very comfy, easy to wear. It's a nice, knit top. The one thing though that I feel like it might be just a little too big, which is okay. So I'll kind of back up. So I'm wearing like a tank top underneath of it. Otherwise, it would come down like way too low, way too low for my comfort level. So I feel like that's probably how I'm going to be like wearing it going forward, which is fine. But I almost feel like it's a little big in the shoulders. And if I make it again, which I do want to make the short sleeve version, I love that for the summertime. I'll probably size down and it'll maybe fit a little better in the shoulders. But it's not like a huge deal. It's still pretty comfortable, and I know that I'll wear it quite a bit. Hi, Debbie. How are you? Awesome. Thanks, Debbie. I appreciate it. In a minute, I'll kind of like stand up. I can't get too far back in the room because the room's not that big, but I feel like if I stand up, you guys will get to see like how it turned out full length and kind of do a little twirl to show you. Yeah, it came together so quick. I was really happy about that. And the only like the part that took the longest, at least for me, was the center front of the bust and then the lower front because there's gathers here and then there's also gathers here. And I don't think that that was difficult. It just took a little while. Especially this is like a sweater knit that I got from Style Maker Fabrics from their selvage yard a while back. And I think that because I'm a little bit inexperienced working with knits, that it was hard to like pin down and like grab hold of and keep it in place while I was trying to get the gathers just right. But I'm pretty happy with it overall, and it's really comfortable. Thank you guys. What kind of flannel shirt are you making, Debbie? Ooh, what is that, Vanessa? Simplicity 9835. Is that a top or a dress? And I don't know like how you guys are when you're sewing, but when you get to that point in a project where you're kind of finishing up and you know you'll just be done here soon, and you're like already thinking about your next project and like can't wait to get going on that. That's kind of how I am with my next make, which is these Butterick pants. And I'm going to go ahead and do view C, which has a wider leg and that little kind of slit, like from looks like from the knee down. And I have some things to share with you guys and get your all's input on that too. Oh, nice, Debbie. Yeah. There's nothing like a good flannel shirt, right? Ooh, Vanessa, that's awesome. A long dress from 1971. Is it for the holidays? Is it like a formal dress or awesome, Pam? What is that? 8855. I feel like I should know that number, but I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let's see. Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, I'll go ahead and kind of show you guys how this top turned out. And I hope the light is bright enough. It's dark here, of course, because winter. And if I move my stool out of the way, I can get a little farther away. But that's about as far away as I can get in this room. So the top comes down pretty long. It's kind of, I would say, tunic length, which is nice. And right now I just have it on with some like really comfy, loose pajama type pants, but I could see wearing it with leggings or jeans. Yeah, yeah. Oh, thanks, you guys. I appreciate that. It's one of those, like, I think I mentioned this a few minutes ago. Um, what kind of makes a pattern good for me if it's easy to make and easy to wear. So I think that this top kind of fits the bill on both of those counts. Thanks, Vanessa. Oh, you've got a challenge, or maybe it's not a challenge for you, Vanessa. So you're sizing up by a couple of sizes. I feel like for me, if I have to size up by like one size, it's doable, but I think the bigger you go outside of the pattern, you kind of really have to know what you're doing. Yeah, and especially being lined too. I can see why you're making a muslin of it. I would too, for sure. And with my with my pants, I've gotten as far as just so what I like to do for a lot of if I think I'm going to make a pattern more than once, or if it's really an old pattern that I don't want to destroy all the sizes, I'll go ahead and trace it. So what I'm doing with this one, even though it still is in print and I feel like I could get it for $1.99 again, I am still going to go ahead and trace the pattern. So I've got the pattern pieces just kind of ironed out and prepping them for tracing, and that's about as far as I've gotten so far. Oh, yeah, good idea. Nancy Zeman, she's the thing, isn't she? She knows what she's doing. Hi, Becky. Welcome. And you might have seen I've got some tops hanging here. And that's kind of I wanted to get your guys' input on this. So for the Butterick pants, I am gonna use, let's see, it's a crepe that I got from Joann's a couple months ago. And it's kind of fall-ish, I guess. It has this sort of cranberry or mauve color, a lot of blues and kind of like seafoam greens. And I really love these colors, and I think that it kind of opens itself to a lot of different tops to wear with it, which is one thing I love with uh like if you have a print pants or a print top, then the opposite, like if you have a print pair of pants, you can wear a bunch of different tops with it. So I was actually this so usually I'm off on Fridays, which I was today as well. So this morning I was doing some errands. I went grocery shopping and I had to go to the library to take a book back. And I was headed to Joann's to see if I could find some fabric like in one of these like teal or seafoam green colors to make a top for this. And funnily enough, right really close to our library is a Goodwill, like my favorite Goodwill. It's like big and they have all kinds of stuff. So I thought, you know what? Maybe I'll just pop in there and see if I could find a top that would go with this fabric. And that way by the time I get the pants done, because I kind of I take a long time to finish anything, I'll already have a top ready to go with it instead of having to, you know, take the time to make the top. So I stopped in and I thought it might be like a stroke of, I might be get lucky if I find a top with one of these colors that fits in my size. And I actually found a few tops. So I was going to share those with you guys. Yes, tracing is time consuming. And I kind of sometimes it makes me kind of avoid getting started, and then I have to kind of just like embrace it like as part of the whole process. Like, well, if I want to get this thing started, I have to trace. So then I try to like make it fun, I guess you could say, as much as possible. Oh, yes, definitely, Becky. Yeah. So if you guys are ready, I'll show you the tops that I found. And I did find 3, and they were each like, I think they were like 5.49 a piece. So I went ahead and got all 3. And the reason why I did that is because when COVID started, our Goodwill, like, closed their dressing rooms, like, when they reopened so you could come back in and shop at least, the dressing rooms were closed. So, I mean, I understand that, they have their reasons, they wanna keep things clean and sanitary and whatnot. But 2 years later, the dressing rooms have been kind of, like, walled over, like, where the dressing rooms were in the corner, there's no doors even there. They totally just drywalled over it, so you can't try anything on. So you just like do your best. And I want to say that they might not even allow returns, which I feel like is kind of maybe a little unfair. Like if you're not going to let me try the thing on, but then you won't let me bring it back if it doesn't fit. Either way, I mean, if it doesn't fit, it's fine. I believe in Goodwill and I think they're a good organization. So, if I give my money to them, it's fine with me. So anyway, that's why I bought all 3 tops for 5.49 each. It really didn't end up to be too much. So I will show you guys the tops. And they're kind of in the similar color. Like I mentioned, I was trying to go for either like a light teal or the seafoam green. So I was kind of like looking for those colors when I was shopping. And And the first one, I'm not sure if the colors are coming out pretty good on the screen. I feel like they are. So this is a sweater and it's soft, it's kind of fuzzy. I think that looks pretty good. Oh, awesome, Becky. I'm in PJ pants now just for the same reason because our temperatures dropped like crazy low. So it's all about comfy and cozy. And the second one is kind of a similar color, really similar, maybe a little more green. It is still kind of like a sweater. It's a knit top. It's still sweatery, but I don't know if this is showing up. It's thin. It's a lot thinner and it's definitely kind of translucent. Like if you hold this up to the light, you can see through. There we go. You can see through it for sure. So this would be like an over top. There would definitely be something worn underneath of this, but I still think it looks pretty good. Oh, that's really low, Becky, for South Carolina. I'm in southwestern Ohio, just outside of Cincinnati. We're expecting low 20s and soon, like even into the teens at night, which those kind of temperatures are not unexpected here, but they're unexpected this early. Usually those kind of temperatures don't happen till January, maybe December. Usually it doesn't get that cold so soon here. We've already gotten snow twice, which is very unusual. Oh, thank you. And so you guys must be like really hunkering down. That's really cold in South Carolina. Yeah, definitely. And then the other top, so just coincidentally, these all turned out to be knits. I wasn't looking for sweater types. That's just when I was kind of walking up and down the aisles at Goodwill, like keeping my eye open for the colors, it was just happened to be knits that caught my eye. Hmm. So this is the third one, and it's more of a blue than green, and I think it still goes pretty well. Let me. I think there's enough blues in the fabric that this still looks pretty good. So either way, all three of the tops are now officially mine since there's no returning things there. And whether or not I wear them with the pants, I'll still wear them. So it's good. Oh, thanks, Chris. You think this one? It's hard to tell because I know colors look different on everybody's screens. Ah, thank you. I appreciate that. Once I get the pants made, yeah, maybe that'll be a good video, like for the reveal video for the pants, is to try them on with each of the tops and just kind of see. So just to give you an idea, here they all are. So kind of similar colors, or at least like in the same vein. Either way, I feel like I got a good deal. I got 3 new sweaters for 5.49 each, so that's pretty good. I love Goodwill. It is if I'm not, like, making my own clothes, like, the clothes that I don't make for myself, almost all of them come from Goodwill. I love it. And, yeah, so that's pretty much all that I've done, like, sewing related. And in other parts of life, uh I don't know if you guys saw earlier in the video, we got our Joann's like Black Friday doorbusters ad in the mail today. And I haven't flipped through it too much, but one thing like that caught my eye, I hope that's not crinkling too much. They have 60% off of the entire stock of Ott lights. Now, I'm pretty set up with lighting and I do love the Ott lights, but I don't know if it ever goes like as low as 60%. I've seen it 40 and 50, and I don't really like follow the Joann's ad like nearly as closely as I used to, but I feel like 60% off is pretty good for an Ott light. Yeah, if I needed one, I probably would take advantage of this. Have you guys started holiday shopping yet? And one thing I've noticed that if you get onto like the email list of the different stores and pattern companies, they're all starting to send their emails in for the holiday shopping. And I did get an email from True Bias Pattern Company, and I've only sewn one of their patterns before, like way back early in the year. It was their Shelby dress. And I had a good success with that. So I'm kind of toying with the idea of getting their Nico top and dress. Um, I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. It's so easy to get caught up in all the sales that are going on. Ah, yeah, definitely. Becky, I just recently ordered from Amazon. I got pretty good price, like a headlamp that also has a magnifier that you kind of like flip down, and it has different like strength of magnification. So you could use it if you're doing any kind of intricate work, whether you're hand sewing or working with small like jewelry making or things like that. And I haven't tried it out yet, but I'm kind of hopeful that it'll help like when I do hand sewing. I do have a magnifying glass on a desk lamp that I currently have, but that thing kind of like sits on the desk with a swing arm that comes up and over. So if I want to use like the magnifying glass portion, I have to actually stand up and kind of like lean over and look down to see through the magnifier. So it's not real convenient. So I'm really hopeful that my new headlamp will kind of help. Bye, Chris. Thanks for joining in. I appreciate it. It was good talking with you. Have a great weekend. Yeah, so anyway, I'm kind of looking at the True Bias sale. I'm not sure though. I feel like I've gone crazy this year with patterns, so we'll see. And other than that, I haven't done too much holiday shopping yet. I tried not to get caught up in it, although sometimes it's difficult. One thing I have done is buy some new toys for our new puppy, Farley, and I couldn't help it. I just feel like I want to just get him all kinds of stuff for his first Christmas with us. I mean, he won't be aware that it's Christmas or not, but when the rest of us are opening gifts, he'll have some things to open too. Ah, pattern diet. Yes. I think that'll go over just about as well as my fabric diet. Yes, I'm the same way. I don't even like I'm kind of of two minds with going out after it's dark or when driving especially. In some ways I feel like I can't see as well, but at least you can see like the headlights of the oncoming cars pretty well. I think what kind of for me is even more difficult than driving at night is driving in the twilight time, just because it's not dark enough yet for cars to have their headlights on, but it's getting dark enough in the day, like the sunlight's going down enough that it makes it a little more difficult to see. Yes, I fell off the fabric diet too. Ah, aw, that's sweet, Debbie. What kind of things do you get for them? When we've had cats in the past, so we currently don't have any cats. But when we have, what I've found is that you could get them like the cutest little toys and go all out, and then they're like, "Eh, whatever." They'd rather play with like a piece of string or a drinking straw or something like that. How old are your cats? Yeah, at least I feel like so we've had like many dogs and cats over the years, and I feel like dogs are like so much easier in some ways, not in other ways though. Yeah, so that is about all the holiday shopping that I've done so far, and we don't really get too crazy in our family with the gifts. We'll buy like a maybe a couple of gifts for our parents, and but even then, like my mom, for instance, she doesn't like she's not into like the consumerism, which I can respect and appreciate. So we don't really do too much gift exchange there. With my husband's family, we'll usually do like a little bit more of an exchange, but it's not, crazy. Oh, nice. So is the tunnel like something new for you to try? Have you used it yet and do they like it? Yeah, I've seen those. I feel like the ones that I've seen, the tunnels for the cats are meant to be like outdoors. Maybe I'm thinking of something totally different, but it's where like it's mesh or even like metal where they can go outdoors and still like see things. I don't know if that's making a lot of sense. We're kind of the same, Becky. We're really the same, especially with my husband's family. We exchange with, my mother and father-in-law, but not amongst the siblings just to keep it kind of like manageable and not get too crazy. And then of course, nieces and nephews, we of course any kids we still buy for sure. I hear you, Pam. Okay. Yeah. So Debbie, with the indoor tunnel, is that like, is the purpose of it just so that they have a place to, like, crawl? Or I'm trying to picture that. I might Google that, I'm curious now. Oh, that sounds good, Becky. I love that screen porch as your catio. I haven't heard that phrase yet, I like it. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna Google the indoor tunnel for cats. I'm really curious now. Nice. Yeah, and what I always found with our cats is that like a cardboard box was like their cup of tea. I feel like if we had like bought our cats a nice tunnel, who knows if they'd ever used it. Yeah, I hear you, Becky. Our cats were always indoor cats too, and not just because of like stray dogs and coyotes, but I've found that I've kind of always lived on or near kind of a busy or like a major road, so there was always the threat of getting hit by a car, which I totally like couldn't deal with if that were to happen. Yeah, sometimes just the simplest things with cats. I'm trying not to go too crazy getting things for Farley because he already has like so many toys. We had a bunch of toys already at our house when we took him in August just because they were kind of some of them were. remaining from our previous dog who died in the spring of last year, and it took us a long time to kind of deal with that loss. It was hard. We donated a lot of her things and kept some of them just because we have friends with dogs that come visit. So it's always nice to have some toys here for their dogs. So when we adopted Farley, when he came in, the day we adopted him, it was a meetup at PetSmart, so we let him pick out a couple of toys before we brought him home, but then he had all the toys here that were already here for our guests, and so he's got a bunch of toys, so I'm trying not to get too crazy with that. Hi, Carol, how are you? Good to see you. What are you up to this weekend? Getting some sewing in? Oh gosh, Becky, 5 cats, that's a lot. Yes. Yeah, it's maintenance. It takes some work for sure. Nice. Okay. That's a lot. Do your 5 cats all get along pretty well? When my husband and I first met back in '02, it's been a long time. I had 2 dogs and a cat, and he had 2 cats. And so then in 2004, we ended up moving in together and then later got married. We were a little concerned about like how is everyone going to get along, and the dogs I wasn't too worried about. It was more of course like the cats, are they going to get along, are his cats going to be okay with my dogs and things like that. And it all worked out pretty well overall in the end, but it just took some time. You have to just let everybody acclimate kind of slowly and get used to each other. Oh wow, okay. So they really never mingle too much at all? Or is it just like, "Rawr," like trouble if they happen to cross paths? Oh, I mean, I can't even imagine managing 5 cats. Yeah, it takes a while. I think even that's true with people. I mean, when you move in with somebody new, like a new spouse or roommates or whatever, I mean, of course, it's not gonna be like animals where you're just, like, clawing at each other. It could be, I guess. But it takes a while to, get used to everyone's ways and find, like, a balance where everyone gets their needs met and no one's stepping on each other's toes all the time. Yeah. Oh gosh, Becky, that's quite a while, 2 years. But I mean, I guess I'm not surprised that it's taken a while, especially given that they're cats for sure. And even with dogs, I mean, I feel like as far as like interpersonal relationships, it's a little bit easier with dogs usually, but even then, they have to like establish their pecking order and the dominance or whatever. When we do our Thanksgiving here, we invite our families and any friends that are coming to bring their dogs as long as they are not aggressive and they get along pretty well. But even then, I can remember years where we had maybe like 20 or 25 people and 5 dogs here or more. And there was one year when it got kind of for a second, it got kind of ugly between 2 of the dogs. So when that happened, it's like pull them apart, and we all went for kind of like a long, long little walk around the property. I feel like that, at least with dogs, kind of helps them like work things out if everybody goes on a walk together. And it seemed to help because when we came back from the walk, maybe they had kind of like sorted some things out, and everybody was calm after that. I don't know if that like works all the time and it's foolproof, but it really did help our situation there. Yeah, what are you working on this weekend, Carol? Anything specific? Earlier in the chat, everyone was sharing all the projects that they're working on this weekend. So this year for Thanksgiving, it's gonna be a lot smaller, and there might be like 15 people, and off the top of my head, I'm thinking 3 or 4 dogs, so probably just 3, and I think it'll be a lot calmer. Oh, cool. Yeah. Carol, I remember your video when you were talking about getting back into an on-site office environment, wanting to make like a career wardrobe. I'm glad that's working out for you. I worked primarily from home at the start of the pandemic. Before the pandemic, like since 2012, I was already doing kind of like a remote hybrid thing, but I was just working from home 1 day a week and going into the office 4 days a week. Of course, that like flip flopped when the pandemic started. And it's funny because right before lockdown, before anybody knew anything about COVID, I was getting back into sewing garments and bought like a bunch of fabric and I'm gonna make like a work wardrobe. And then lockdown started. So it's kind of funny. And then earlier this year, I changed jobs and now like all my work is on site. I don't do any, I might do 1 or 2 hours at home, but most of it's on site. But I work for a nature center. So like it's kind of it's very casual. Like if I went in, like there's nobody, like even our CEO is wearing cargo pants and hiking boots. Nobody wears like even business casual unless they're meeting with like have a special meeting or something like that. So like all the nicer clothes that I'm making, I'm gonna have to like find places to wear them. Oh, wow. Okay, Carol. That's I don't think I've ever done that with a pattern where I've made like every view. I like that. That's I feel like that's making like the very most of the pattern. Yeah, Becky, that's a good thing to work on in the car. One thing I've done if we've traveled, like, so primarily, like right now, I'm so into garment sewing and for the last couple of years, but off and on through the years, I've kind of switched between quilting and garment sewing. So before a couple of years ago, I was doing primarily quilt making for years. And I loved like hand quilting. It's a perfect portable project. And especially like if you when you do the binding, if you're sewing it on by hand. I've actually taken quilts camping before. So like for those rainy days when you're kind of sitting in your camper or your tent and you're tired of reading, you have like a hand project you can work on. Excuse me. Yeah, definitely, Carol. I'm trying to make the most of outings now, like where can I wear my clothes that I'm making? Mm. I'll have to check that pattern out, Carol. I have to apologize. I haven't seen your last couple of videos. Sometimes the week just goes by and I get so behind on my videos. I'm also an avid gardener, so I'm kind of like trying to keep up with all the gardening channels that I watch. Even in the wintertime, they're all posting stuff and all the sewing channels that I watch. It's so much YouTube. I feel like that is my TV. Like that's when I'm watching something, it's usually YouTube rather than like a TV channel, unless my husband and I are watching like a series together. Oh, Carol, don't be afraid to start. If you have any questions about quilting, just get with me, ping me. You can direct message me. I'll be so happy to answer. If you have questions, I'll be happy to help out. I feel like if I like took a break from garments for right now and went back to quilting, I would be consumed with it. And so it's trying to find like the right balance. Like I do want to get back to quilting, but I'm afraid that that would just take over and then that's all that I'm doing. Yeah, definitely. I'll be so happy any way I can help if you want to get into quilting. Very happy. Yeah, Pam, she does. Sherry's like so talented, isn't she? She like does everything. And I love her sewing space. She has such a nice setup there in the basement. I mean, it's awesome. Becky, that sounds kind of fancy. Tunisian crochet stitches. I don't crochet or knit, although when I was a little girl, a neighbor taught me a little bit about crocheting, but it didn't like I lost touch with her, so it didn't really stick. But I love the way crochet looks. It's so beautiful and elegant. Knitting too. Knitting's so practical. I mean, I think like none of these tops that I got today were hand knitted, but just to think I could knit a sweater if I learned how to knit. I mean, how practical is that? That's so cool. I totally admire people who can knit and crochet. Pam, that sounds fancy too. I'll have to check out Kathy, Kath Crafts. Yeah, definitely. Well, I am probably gonna go ahead and hop off of here. We are fixing to eat dinner soon. We usually eat pretty late because we don't go to bed until like 11 or 11:30. That's kind of a bad habit that I've gotten into since the pandemic started. Prior to that, I was in bed by 10 or 10:30. Now I'm like a night owl staying up too late, which has meant that we're eating too late too. But oh, maybe you will. Then maybe that'll prompt you to learn, Pam. You think? I bet you would pick it up just like that. Yeah, I'll be excited to see if you start learning how to knit. Yeah, thanks, Becky. Thanks, you guys, for joining in. It was so good to chat with you. I love it when we can actually talk real time. I appreciate you joining in. And I hope that you guys have a good weekend and stay warm if it's freezing in your area like it is here. And I will talk to you soon. Bye, Pam. Thanks, you guys. Have a good weekend and a good evening. Yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.